Welcome family to another cooking video from Sweeney's Creek Farm. Here we are in the kitchen. It's my turn this time. We had a really good crop come out of our garden with our aubergine or eggplants. We ended up with quite a number of them. It's a vegetable that we haven't done a lot with in the past, and we certainly haven't grown them before, so it's been very exciting to get such a large crop and to then look for different ways to use them. Today we're going to be making a nice hot spicy aubergine or eggplant chutney. Very simple list of ingredients. We'll run through them, but the full description will be listed below in the recipe. We have a number of eggplants or aubergines, we have brown sugar, we have some lovely sultanas, red onion, a spice mix. The details of that one are listed in the recipe below, some tomato puree, ginger and apple cider vinegar. The only equipment you're really going to need is a nice heavy base pan, a good spoon for stirring them, and this is the most important piece, a nice sharp knife. I've actually gone out and sharpened this morning to make sure it's got a nice edge on it. Just remember, sharp knives are safer knives. You don't have to push them as much and you're able to control them easily, so please make sure you sharpen them up and then use a good cutting technique to make sure that you have your fingers out of the way. First part of the recipe involves preparing the vegetables, so we're going to be dicing up the aubergines and we'll be roughly cutting the onions. The pan we're going to be using for this recipe is our jam making pan. It's a stainless steel, it's got a nice solid base on it, gets good even heat distribution, and it avoids the possibility of having it burning and sticking on the bottom. So the next step of the recipe is to add the vegetables with the tomato paste. I'm going to stir them up together and then we'll slowly incorporate all the other ingredients. So let's get these in. Going to give them a stir. Next one is the tomato puree. Gently stirring that now to combine. Next is the apple cider vinegar and sugar. Stir those around. Next step is we just add the remaining ingredients. Now we're going to pop this on the stove. We're going to gently heat the ingredients and give them the occasional stir until we get the sugar dissolved. We had this on a low heat, stirred it around to combine to make sure we dissolved all the sugar. We then raised the heat and we're bringing it up to a boil now, and you can see it's just starting to bubble away nicely there, so it's approaching that point where it's going to be all boiling. Once we get to that point, we'll drop the heat and let it on a slow simmer for about an hour. And we just stir that occasionally to make sure that it doesn't stick and burn. You'll know that the chutney's ready closer to the end of the process when it's really reduced and it's become quite sticky. At that point, you need to stir constantly, and that's just to ensure that it doesn't stick to the bottom and burn. At the moment, it's got a lot of liquid in there. It's quite okay. The occasional stir is fine. There we have the final product that's been simmering away there for a bit over an hour. As you can see, it's thickened up as it's simmered away there. We've removed the cinnamon stick. You certainly don't want that in one of the jars. The longer you simmer this away, the thicker it will become. So that can be a little bit of personal preference too. If you like it a bit thicker, then just keep simmering it away until you get that consistency that you like. A good chutney should be fairly thick and sticky. So the chutney is now going to go into the jars. These are recycled jars we're using. We've washed them in soapy water. We've heated them up in the oven, got them sterilised. We now put the chutney in there. We'll seal them with clean lids and let them cool down. We've got the chutney in the jars now. Next step is just to make sure that the rims of those jars are nice and clean before we put the lids on. So just got a little bit of vinegar and a clean cloth. And we're just going to run that along each one. Need to make sure the glass there is nice and clean so we get a good seal. Once that's done, lids go on. And this stuff is really handy as well. This is the non-slip material that you can buy at many stores. Just gives you a good grip to just gently seal those. Also provides a bit of heat protection. These jars are pretty warm. The other important thing is to make sure you give space around the jars so that they can cool. And this one wasn't quite full. We're going to seal at one, but that will be the one that we'll use up first, so that might even be used for lunch tomorrow. As we've explained in other videos, this is an open kettle or a hot pack method, hot jars, hot material and seal. That's one method that we use traditionally in Australia. The other method, very traditional Australian, is the Fowler's method, which is using the Fowler's jars and the sealing rings and lids. So if you're using this technique, you'd actually let that chutney cool down in the pan. You would then put it into the Fowler's jars, seal, and then process it in the Fowler's unit. There we go everyone, that's our first go at eggplant or aubergine chutney. Very pleased with how it's come out so far. Just got to let these jars cool down now and we'll hear the little pop as they seal and they can go into the cupboard. Looking forward to trying one out tomorrow, see how it all tastes, but all looking really good so far. Thanks for coming along guys, hope you enjoyed the video. If you're enjoying the content, please consider hitting that subscribe button and joining the family, and hit that like button as well. Thanks very much guys, and see you on the next one. Bye for now.